Good morning, y'all. Today I'm going to show you how to make a cranberry and apple stuffed pork loin that takes 5 minutes and is over the top. This stuff is incredible, right? All right, so let's cook, y'all. We've got families to feed. Okay, folks, let's get our pork roast going. All right, so we're stuffing this pork loin roast with several things, okay? Here's what we've got. So we have about 3/4 of a cup of onion. We have 1 stalk of celery. That is about, well, it was my handful, so maybe 1/3 of a cup of fresh cranberries that I diced up. This is about 1/4 of a Granny Smith apple, so you're looking for these apples, diced up fine, and about 1/3 of a cup of pecans that I diced up. No, I didn't dice them, I chopped them up and I toasted them on the stove real quick. And if you don't know how to toast nuts, I'm going to put a link in here to how to do that. It's really easy and it really brings out some flavor. So here's our pork roast, and I'll also link to how to do this cut on the pork roast because I've opened him up. See, this is about 2 pounds. And I cut it off of an entire pork loin so that I was able to control what cuts and sizes I got. So here we go. Let's do this. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is season the inside. Now, I didn't do this. I did not brine this pork roast. I should have. It really is the best way to do it. So I'm gonna tell you all officially to do that. And if you wanna make it super phenomenal, do an apple brine. I'll try to link through to that as well. But we're doing nice and heavy with, if you don't brine, you need lots of kosher salt, okay? And my pepper quit. Of course. Just grab this stuff. Jeez. So if you do not brine, you need a good bit of kosher salt. So I go a full teaspoon on the interior. We're gonna repeat it on the exterior. If you do brine, you need just a sprinkle. You really don't need much at all. So this is the inside, and over here we're gonna mix our stuffing ingredients. And this is stuffing in the loosest sense of the word. I'm not using binders. I'm not using any kind of breading to hold it together. What I am gonna do though, let's see if I can reach it, because Ricky's been cooking again, which means I can't reach anything. All right, so what I am gonna do is give it a good tablespoon of balsamic vinegar. Balsamic vinegar can get nice and sweet, and we've already got some sweet and some sour going on with the apples and the cranberries. That little bit of onion. So you see what I'm doing here? So we're just gonna give this a quick stir. And that's what we look like when we're ready to go. I also want you to pay attention to how fast this is. All right, so I did 3 cuts on this roast to open it all the way, and then I did 1 additional cut down here just to give me an additional spot to tuck some of this filling. So we want it to taste good, we want it to be pretty. All right, so we're gonna close him up there. I'm gonna come in here with the next batch. Just like that. All in the folds. And a little tiny bit of stuffing left over. I might throw it in there somewhere. And then we roll him up. Just like this. See? Like that. All right, I'm going to wash my hands, grab my kitchen string, and I'll be back to show you the next step. We're almost done. There we go. All right. So all I did was cut 3 relatively short pieces of cotton kitchen twine, butcher's twine. Make sure you're using something that's food safe. Needs to be 100% cotton. And I'm caught. Here we go. So I'm just tying this up, and you can do whatever kind of knot you want. I give you permission. People get all up in arms about having to have a surgeon's knot or whatever. Doesn't affect the way the food tastes at all. And you're gonna cut it off before you serve it anyway. Use what works. Now, if you want to learn those knots, great. You're more ambitious than I am. And I got really stingy with my string. I should have cut longer pieces. There we go. That's all right, it works. All you're doing when you're tying it up is making a nice tight compact package. It will hold together better when it cooks. So that's it. All right, so final step, we're gonna drizzle the exterior with a little olive oil and rub it in. And give it a good season on the outside. If you brine, you want to go really lightly. If you did not brine, you want to be very generous. All right, I'm not going to touch my pepper mill because I have contaminated hands, but you also pepper on the outside. Now, I have my oven set to 350 degrees. I've got just a baking dish right here, just plain old 9 by 13. And this is the last little bit we have to do. Have our thermometer, and we're going to set it to 135 degrees. And the important thing you want to remember here, you want to go all the way to the interior where the meat is. You want it exactly in the center, because that's going to give you a true reading. All right, so whoop, into my dish, replace my lost stuffing. All right, so I'm going to wash my hands, give him a good bit of pepper on the outside, and we're going to throw this in the oven. That's all there is to it, right? How easy was that? Now, last thing, I'm probably going to serve this with a balsamic reduction. That sounds really fancy. It's not. I'm simply putting some balsamic vinegar on the stove. I'm going to let it simmer until it reduces by half and gets thick. And I'm going to do that while the pork roast is in the oven. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, so I want to show you something real quick. We are almost to 135, and that's where I'm going to pull it out of the oven. So what I did was crank the heat up to 500 just to make sure it gets nice and golden brown on the outside. So we want it to look nice too. And then over here, we've got our balsamic, which is reducing nicely. Okay, back in a minute. All right, we hit our mark. So we're going to do what we do every single time we bring a roast out of the oven, we let it rest. Okay, here's why. So we hit an internal temperature of 135, right? We pulled it out of the oven. See how much it has continued to climb? It's gone another 10 degrees just from sitting on the countertop. That's called carryover cooking, and it's important. Now, once this number has topped out and started to drop, we know it's rested about as well as it should, okay? But the longer you let it rest, the more you're going to ensure that it stays nice and juicy and succulent on the inside. So hands off, a good 10 to 15 minutes, if not a little bit more. There's baby. He says he needs some. All right, we have rested. Come down in temperature, and we have our reduced balsamic. So we're just going to get rid of our strings. Don't need them anymore. Just hold everything in place while the cooking process happens. I know. And then once everything is fully rested, it's not going to move anymore, so you can get rid of those. So here is our roast. Let's see. Here we go. Fully rested. Now, this end piece often is not quite even. They talk about the angel's share in whiskey. This is the cook's portion. This is what we get to sneak our bites off of. And we don't have to tell anybody. All right. There we go. Ooh. That looks really nice. Maybe put that on a plate and garnish it with a few fresh cranberries. That would be so pretty. And I'm not a garnisher, so. All right, let's see how we did, y'all. So this is our pork loin stuffed with apples and cranberries. Oh my God. Mmm. That makes me happy. Wow. It is a little bit sweet, just hints, and just a tiny bit, a little bit of sour in the background, but it's not a take you off your feet sour. And if you really want to get fancy, for me, this, let me show you this. Let's see. This, y'all, is our reduced balsamic. You see how it's thickened up? A lot, okay? You only need a few drops of this stuff. It gets sweet and intense, so you really don't want to overdo it. So just drizzle. This would be better if I put it in one of my little squirt bottles, but I'm being lazy. So let's get you fixed here. Pièce de résistance. I don't speak French, I know that phrase. Holy cow, y'all. Everybody has to eat, so you should eat well. And that right there is how you do it. Hey YouTube, thanks for watching. And if you thought that video was helpful, do me a huge favor. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit the little bell so you get a notification whenever I post a new video. And if you have a second, hop on over to Patreon and check out how to support my channel even more. Again, thanks for watching.